Hi everyone, my name is Nicola. I am simply a stitcher. Welcome or welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, it's great to have you, and if you are returning, thank you for coming and spending some more time with me today. So today I'm going to do a stitch with me video, and this is one that I will do which has some chat in it. So I'll be going through your comments and having a look and seeing what's being said from my lovely stitchy friends. And sorry, just slight adjustment. And as you can see, I am working on my Realm of Middle Earth map. I'm getting ever closer to these park threads, which I'm desperate to work in. So this is the Realm of Middle Earth map Tilton Crafts version, and I am somewhere in here, this bit section here where this O is. I'm putting in this word Cardolan, as you can see there, and that O, so I'm kind of here. I've done 88 stitches so far, but yeah, I'm going to zoom in, we're going to crack on and see what this hour brings. And I have some comments to go through, and yeah, we're gonna see how we get on. There's a bit of block stitching in this, so obviously that will make it a little easier. But yeah, I'm quite happy with the progress on this one. We are at almost a third of the way through, 33.11%. So once I get to over 33.33, which should be after this rotation, I can officially say I'm a third of the way there, I reckon. So this is stitched 1/1 full cross on some 25 count fabric, and it's my oldest whip. I think it was 2017, I want to say, that I started this one. Hence it's one of the 4 pieces that goes into my secondary rotation next year. So I'm going to have a primary rotation of my 4 pieces per week, and then my extra stitches, which I would normally put in on my focus for a finish, are going to go in a secondary rotation with, there are 4 pieces that are going to be in that rotation, if it makes sense. So the extra stitch rotation will be this one, it'll be Night Cafe, it'll be Daughter of the Deep, and then whichever piece that I have, which is the closest to a finish. So of course this is notwithstanding if I get model stitching, because you just never know. I've sent one back this week, and you know, I never know when a model stitch is going to appear on the horizon. Yeah. So as I film this, it's Wednesday morning. I had a day in the office yesterday, Tuesday, which was quite nice, and I had a rather nice end to it, actually. I catch the tram home from work. We have a tram that links our 2 towns, the town that I live in and the town that I work in, or the city, should I say, that I work in. And my boss walked through to the tram stop with me. Not my manager, my department head boss. So, you know, the big boss. And it was lovely just to have, you know, a 10-minute conversation with her. You know, nothing to do with work, and, you know, nothing to do with what I do. And, you know, I've got a problem with this case or a problem with that case. It was just super nice. So yeah, it was rather a nice end to the day. And then I came home and Andy said, I'm cooking dinner. I'm like, who am I to argue? He bought me flowers. He also enhanced my Freddo stash. And he bought me a nice new top as well. So I was absolutely, you know, I must have sounded awful last night because I was quite tired. But I was very pleased, you know, that he thought, you know, to do that. And his reasoning was, with what happened with him being on the national news on the Sunday, for a couple of days, all of the attention was focused on him. And he felt that, you know, I needed some attention focused on me, which was very sweet. I'm not the kind of person who burns for attention, but it's lovely when it comes. So yeah, it was a pleasant evening. So he cooked dinner. I got some sausages from a lovely shop here called Marks and Spencer, and they do a sausage which is ideal for my diet. So I had some sausages with some pasta and vegetables. Thoroughly enjoyed it. Yeah. And then I had a stitchy time, of course. It's funny because we often talk about my stitching, you know. And I'm sure you guys have seen my floss tube now that I did something naughty. And the naughty thing that I did was I went and purchased the Gecko Rouge, which is their Halloween limited edition. They also brought out a Gecko gem, that the Boo. I had a prepaid credit card gifted, and I still had some funds on it, so I figured, why not? You know, use it and buy the Boo. So that's what I did. And again, shout out to Gecko Rouge. Good morning, Hannah.
It's cold.
I know. For their wonderful customer service, because they don't do split payments. And I was I think about £5 short. And I emailed Glenn, and he was wonderful and worked out a solution. So massive shout out to Team Gecko. I also told him about my Year of the Gecko plans next year, and he says that he will be looking out for it. So if any of you are joining me and you're on Instagram, don't forget to use the hashtag Year of the Gecko, which I'll talk more about next year. Hannah's just come down, going to get ready for work. Poor Lashy's still got a bit of a cough, so you might hear a few coughs and splutters. So yeah. So let's get to some of your wonderful comments. And I hope that I don't go out of frame. I have to just keep an eye on the camera. It's a pity, you know, it's a shame that these kinds of stitches with me aren't live, because, you know, somebody would be shouting at me in the chat by now, you're out of frame. Yeah, in the nicest possible way. Oh, you've gone blurry. And again, in the nicest possible way. So. And also, just before we get into the comments, just a quick update on my Simply a Stitcher and Friends Facebook group. We have hit and surpassed 150 members, So thank you all to those of you who have joined. Yeah, it's lovely to see so many of you in there sharing your work, and those who post on my live threads willing to show their work on my live stream. So yeah, amazing. Didn't think I had so many friends. Okay, so some comments. So the first one is from Nicola Bloor, 4763. Hi Nicola, I can't forget your name, can I? Not many of us about. Hi Nicola, just wondering if you can help me. As I've seen you bought Gecko Rouge kits. I know they're not fully compatible to Pattern Keeper, but I did manage to input the threads. The mock-up was half filled in. I changed the symbol so they're all the same. As I was up stitching, obviously the symbol is not assigned a colour and is confusing for me. So I did reply straight away to Nicola's comments. So when I had problems that I did post on the Gecko Rouge Facebook group, people on there were really, really helpful. And also the Pattern Keeper does have a Facebook group as well, where, you know, that they will also look to try and resolve your problem. My problems that I had with my importing my Gecko Rouge patterns is that there was one where the mock-up was all grey, which was the Christmas cat, and there was one where there was a doubled up symbol. The only thing I can think of, Nicola, is looking back on this comment. Okay, let's just find a Gecko Rouge. Where's the Christmas cat, actually? Nope, come on. Oh. Right, Gecko cat. So if you tap on Edit Legend, for DMC colours, you need to make sure that this drop down is selected as DMC. But I know that Gecko Rouge don't give the DMC colour. But that's how I solved the problem with the Christmas cat. And now, obviously, you can see on the mock-up it's full colour. But because Gecko Rouge are colour card, I'm not quite sure how you're able to change that. It might be that, you know, you ask on the group and they'll tell you how you can, you know, assign a colour. What's the matter? Oh, okay. But yeah, I would definitely ask on the group because they're super helpful in there. But if it's an older piece, it may not be fully compatible with Pattern Keeper, and it might be a case of it is what it is. And I know that's not what we want to hear. Oh, crikey, I've just clicked off my comments because I'm a wally. It might not be what we want to hear, but it is what it is. Okay. Okay, so then we were looking at, I'm looking at comments on FlossTube 34, Days Out haul and a good stitching. There's the title of that one. And Linda Love to Stitch says, great progress, I love all your pieces. Yeah, and there's more coming next year, Linda. I know a couple of people are having a sort of start at all September. But you know, I'm still quite happily waiting until January, get progress as much as I can on the ones that I have. I'm hoping to get in, you know, around another 100,000 stitches this year across my Pattern Keeper pieces. So yeah. Rosemary says, great idea for a Simply Stitches group. Woohoo for Envy this Sunday. Envy is a very popular piece, and she's growing and growing, and I'm into that dress now. That big skirt done. It's a great piece. But I love them all. I love all of my pieces. I can't say that there's a single piece of mine that I dislike. I really can't. Because even the ones that I had a little trouble with in the past, I am okay. I'm very happy with. Hannah's running away. Laurie says, again on FlushTube 34, I think starting a Facebook page is a great idea. That bobbin of wool is huge. Imagine that in 310. A beautiful pink. And your crochet is beautiful. Thank you, Laurie. I still really need to have a look for a pattern. I'm looking for some kind of a lace. I'm looking like a lace shawl pattern, I think. Probably a knitted one rather than a crochet. So I'm going to have a look. Maybe this weekend I'll take a look and have a look and see if I can find something. I've also got a physical knitting shop in the town, so I might just pop in and have a look in their pattern files and see what they've got, because for knitting patterns, to be fair, I prefer the physical one. So I might just go and have a look and see what my options are. And I would imagine that I'll get more than one thing out of it. I may have another blanket project to do after mine. My friend Dana, who is in Northern Ireland, I showed her Hannah's blanket, and she's, commented that it was lovely and she would love something like that in all greens. So I may just be on a mission and see if I can find. I tend to have a look in, places like charity shops and things, and see if there's any wool or part balls of wool, because, to be fair, if you're making a blanket with lots of different shades, you can just get lots of, different shades of green, and they don't have to match. So I might just start, collecting up some green wool, and then do something for Dana. She's a lovely lady. I work with her and she helps me out an awful lot. So I think it might be nice to do something to, pay it forward. Okay, Official Mermaid's Cove, Natalia, I'd love to share my whips on your Facebook page, and I think you already do, Natalia, so I think you're in and busy sharing away, and it's fantastic. I also note that you gave me another shout out this week. I've not had a chance, and a video came out yesterday when I was in the office, and I was quite busy last night, so I haven't had a chance to watch it yet, but I will. But thank you for that. It's much appreciated. So lovely Kay. Sussex Stitcher, I believe. I've got 2 Ks, Sussex Stitcher and Stitchififer, but I think Stamp Galaxy K is Sussex Stitcher in another life. I sadly missed the live as I was poorly. It was a great one. I was thinking today, in my sick bed, how great a Simply a Stitcher Facebook page would be. Great stuff. And I know that, again, that you have joined us in there, Kay, and it's lovely to have you. Oh, squeaky brake outside. Vehicles warming around. Okay, Patsy. A Simply Stitcher Facebook group sounds great. That way we could maybe make a viewers project segment of your live or something similar, and you wouldn't have to keep stopping and starting your own stitching. Yeah, well, that was always the plan, Patsy. And for those of you that don't know, Patsy is a moderator in my group as well. So if I'm not around, Patsy usually is. Also, Andy is one of my moderators too. So yeah, I've given them the additional functions. And thank you very much indeed, Patsy, for helping me. Okay, Lynn, lovely Lynn, who's Crazy Stitcher, says, I'd love to see you create a Facebook page. As always, your stitching is great. Thank you, Lynn. And just like that, page created. Okay, Noreen Curry. Says again on floss tube, still working through camera quake, still working through floss tube 34. Noreen says, I'd so enjoy the family being with you during a video. Me too. Your full coverage is taken in stride so easily by you. See you next time. Yeah, I'm not scared of full coverage anymore. I used to be a little apprehensive of it, but now it's just a part of me. You know, stitching these things it's just what I do now. And I do enjoy, you know, spending the time with it and seeing the patterns come out. For me, it's like building blocks. It's like Tetris, almost. And, you know, you can see the progress and you can see how it, you know, develops into the picture kind of thing. It's always a joy when, like on this piece, that I complete a letter or a word, or on Envy where I completed her face, or, you know, when I finish a feature on a stitching shelf. It is always just wonderful to see that, and for me it feels like a real sense of accomplishment, almost like a miniature finish within the bigger piece. I mean, I enjoyed, even though it wasn't full coverage, I enjoyed doing Autumn Waltz so much because it was a lot of small finishes in a big piece. You know, stitching shelf, we've got lots of little motifs on there. This one, obviously, we have the map words. You know, so yeah, it's really, really nice to, you know, I'm not an artist. I can't draw. I can play a musical instrument, but I haven't done for some years, so I'd probably squeak your ears off by now if I tried. I can't sing, so I can't draw, I can't paint, can't sing. I can do things like I can cook and what have you, and I can bake and I can make pastry, which is a skill in itself. But cross stitching is one thing that I do where I can see that real result, and I think full coverage just scratches that itch for me because I like a challenge. And then it's when I see these things come out from under the needle, it's very satisfying. I think satisfying is probably the best word to choose. Judy, again still with floss tube 34. Come on. Says beautiful progress this week. Love the colours in the corner to corner Afghan. That pink wool is huge. The Facebook group sounds fun. Happy stitching. Thank you, Judy. I haven't done an awful lot more on Hannah's blanket, but it'll be finished soon enough, I'm sure. She's already starting to come down and grumble that she's cold, so I'm pretty sure I need to get on with it and do it sooner rather than later. Okay, Leslie, yes, would definitely join your new Facebook group. Sounds like a great idea. Well done with your stitching progress. Nearly 8,000 stitches in a week. Wow. See you tomorrow or Wednesday. Yeah. When I haven't got a model stitch on the cards, and if I really get stuck into something like, my focus for a finish, which is She Sleeps, or my Sunday stitch, I can put some stitching miles in. I really can. Yeah, on Sunday I converted Daughter of the Deep to diagonal stitching, and it was like a fire had ignited because I did loads. I did 1,700 stitches in the day, plus I'd made, done 3 hours of overtime and made a full Sunday dinner as well. So I was quite pleased with that. Oh dear. So Lydia's leisurely stitching. Comments, great to catch up with you. Enjoy your stitching week. Oh yes. My stitching week consists of Monday stitch, Tuesday stitch, Wednesday stitch, and so on. It's just a shame that, urgent matters like work gets in the way. But, we all have our cross to bear, don't we? I really do need that lottery win. You see, even on a Tuesday when I go into the office, I take stitching with me because then I sit and stitch on my dinner break. Unfortunately, coming home, I used to be able to stitch on the tram, but now it's got so much busier, I'm not able to, unfortunately. So, because, I used to be able to sit on a, they were like sort of a two-seat section. I used to be able to sit on there quite happily, stitch away, nobody coming to sit next to me. But now the trams have gotten so busy, people are coming and obviously sitting next to me, so, you know, because of elbows and things and stuff, it's not possible. I used to sit and stitch on the bus. I used to catch a bus to work. I used to go up on the top deck, go near the back, out came the stitching, and, you know, nobody ever used to come sit next to me because the buses were just not as busy. But of course now even the buses have gotten much busier, because after COVID, what they did here was that they reduced the amount of services per hour. So anything that had like 4 an hour was reduced down to 3 or 2 per hour. So it made those 3 or 2 buses per hour busier, which again has paid to my stitching time on a bus. Then again, if me and Andy go somewhere in the car, I'll take stitching and I'll sit and stitch or crochet in the car. No problem with doing that. I do enjoy a car sesh, but I try and take something that's got blocky stitching in it and on a large account. So my Lord of the Rings stained glass is ideal, because I'm colour completing all of the black and it's very blocky. But of course it's a large piece, so I have to make sure that it's not overwhelmingly big to sit in the passenger seat, make sure it's all folded down at the edges and I'm not interfering in any way with Andy's driving. And of course, you know that if we do set off, it's not night time. User letters and numbers with the initial C. In the picture it says, I definitely love a Facebook page, love your work. Cool, cool, hope you're in. And then say grace. Hi Nicola, I love the idea of a Simply Stitcher Facebook group and sharing our progress. Hopefully I'll catch you Wednesday or Sunday. Super job, Grace, thank you. And I know that you do regularly pop in on the live streams and it's lovely to have you. And you've fallen down that full coverage rabbit hole, haven't you? Okay. Bless her, I can hear Hannah coughing upstairs. Okay, Charlotte Miller. I'd love to see a tutorial on how you stitch your full coverages, how you start stroke secure a thread doing 1/1. If you have a particular method you prefer for completing blocks. I've got a couple of videos already out regarding that, Charlotte. I have the how I start and end my threads video. I have a parking video. I have a 2/1 tent stitch video. But then next year when I do my multitudes of new starts, when I start the pieces, they're going to be combined with sort of some kind of, you know, tutorial as well, because you know, I'm going to start some on the diagonal, I'm going to start some row by row, I'm going to start some column by column. So, you know, I'm going to do the how I start a piece, how I start a full coverage piece. So, you know, there's what I haven't already got on the channel will be appearing in the next few months, well, certainly from January onwards. So do keep popping back and checking on those Stitch With Me videos, because you know, they will be essentially, they'll be enhanced Stitch With Me. Because obviously I still do my ASMR, my alternative and my chat, and I keep those under the same format. But I think what I'm going to do is that the new Start Stitch With Me's will be in a series all of their own. So we'll have ASMR, alternative, chat, and a new Start Stitch With Me with a, you know, sort of a run through of how I'm doing it, method and all that kind of thing. So okay, Stitch Pfeiffer, she says, I love the thought of a group where we can all show off our progress and finishes, and you can find them easier. As I don't know about you, but my newsfeed is a mess with adverts for this, that and the other. Yeah, Facebook has become very commercialised in that respect, but having a group cuts all of that out. So, you know, I know that you're in the group, Kay, and it does indeed, as I'm sure you can appreciate, make it easier. You can just go to the group and add on your progress picture, and it's not cluttered with adverts and stuff, which is great. The corner wool is such a lovely colour, and Dusky Rose Pink is one of my favourites. Yep, me too. I really enjoyed seeing your progress on your whips too, as when they're in the frame on the screen, it's really hard to see the overall progress. Yeah, I can't take them out of the frame every time, and you know, it's not always convenient to do so. But when I can take them out of the frame and show the full pieces, it's great. But some of them now are getting, well, certainly like this one and Stained Glass Lord of the Rings are getting quite big now. So, you know, I even envy. So I might, you know, be taking photographs of those in future and getting Andy to put them in. So Mal comes in because we were talking about, we'd had a trip to IKEA and I have a new little trolley that holds my whips, and Mal says, I have an IKEA cart too. It's sitting next to me and I love it. I use shower hook to hang my hoops and things off the side of the top tray when they aren't in use. What a brilliant idea. I think I might have to have a look for some kind of hooks I can attach to this, even if it's like a butcher's hook or something like that, because my hoops are just in the top tray with my empty project bags. But obviously as I fill those, that tray is going to fill up and there's going to be no space for my hoops. So a hook is a grand idea, and I'm going to have a look. Red came back on live stream 12 on the Wednesday one. Red has been teaching her new class. She came back late, got some work done, but thank you for the streaming. No worries at all. You know, my live streams are always there on replay if you don't manage to catch them. You know, you can always catch up with them. Linda Silverman says, hello Nicola, love seeing your daughters yesterday on the live stream, but of course Linda's referring to the floss tube. yeah, it's always nice when they show up. You know, they do add a little, you know, a little of their kind of charm, don't they? They're good lasses. Thready for Stitching, great name. Says the Facebook group sounds great. I loved the progress on your stitching shelf. It's looking amazing. Yeah, I'm loving the progress on stitching shelf too. Again, it's another piece. I'm getting ready to roll it up a little bit, so it'll be out on, it's my focus, my Sunday stitch this week. So as you're watching this on Saturday evening, it will be out on Sunday, and it'll be out on the live stream, so you'll be able to see it, which will be cool. Oh, disaster there. Going over 2 stitches. What a wally. Okay. Stitching from Gnome Cottage says, hi Nicola, I hope you all had a great time in Cleethorpes, my hometown. Facebook group sounds great. Yeah, Cleethorpes is, for me, it's by the sea. Everything is within easy reach, and it's, you know, lots of people have opinions on our coastal towns, but I don't find Cleethorpes to be, a lot of people have said it's unpleasant. I don't find it so. I have never had an issue when I've been there. We've always enjoyed our time, spending some time in the amusements. We've gone and had our dinner at Seaways and had a walk in the gardens and had a look round the town. And, you know, we do enjoy Cleethorpes. And of course for us it's about an hour and 20 from here in the car. So it's dead easy just to, you know, pile in the car and nip up and have an hour or a few hours there. It's great. The girls love it. You know, a bit of sea air. I mean, me and Andy were just sat on the prom with a cup of tea. Well, I had a cup of tea, he had an ice cream. We just sat on the prom watching the world go by. It's terrific. Just listening and watching and, you know, being there is enough for me. That's why I want a place by the sea, with a big window, and which I can choose to open or not. Big window to let in lots of natural light for stitching, with a view over the sea and maybe watching the people pass by as well. It would be my perfect scenario. Or any water really, because for me, the sound of water, so whether it be a lake, a river or the sea, I'm unfussy. But, you know, Cleethorpes itself is considered coastal because it's obviously on the edge of land, but it's actually at the mouth of the River Humber, so it's at the Humber estuary. I think it's the Humber estuary. It's not actually the sea, but, you know, it's close enough. And it is everything, you know, it's all there by the shouting, isn't it? So Judy on live stream 12, Judy Stone says, couldn't sleep, so you're keeping me company at 4:15 AM whilst I stitch with you. I hope you got plenty done, Judy. I've stitched at 4 in the morning before for the same reason, couldn't sleep, or rather in my case it was I got woken up by a cat at 3:45 in the morning once, so I just came down and got some stitching out and got on with it. After all, what else is there to do at 4:15 a.m? I mean, you can't exactly, get on with doing any cleaning or cooking or laundry or whatever, because you don't really want to make noise, especially if you've got others in the household, or if you're connected, your house is connected to your neighbour like ours is. So, stitching is a quiet, peaceful activity that you can do. Catherine says, hi Nicola, hope you're well. I'm curious to see how is your setup for your stitching, since you're stitching from your couch. Do you stitch on your lap, or do you have a stand? So I sit on the, as you're looking at my couch, I stitch on the left hand side. So my right arm is resting on the arm of the couch. I have a Lowry stand which the base slides under. I have a Lowry stand which I can sort of swing in or out so that I can, get up or whatever from the chair. My pattern keeper is on my tablet, and the tablet is on, I have a music stand which I put the tablet on, and also, any paper patterns, but also because it's got a little ledge, it's got needle minders, it's got a set of tweezers, it's got needles, it's got magnets and clips, a few odds and ends on that, and intriguingly a nail file, because very occasionally I might find that I've got a burr on one of my nails, especially after I've just had them done, and I need to give it a little file just to make sure it's not catching my work. And then in front of me I have a very small folding table. The folding table has on my laptop, it also has the arm, the Anglepoise arm clamped to it, which I connect my phone to, which I'm recording on. It's got like a jaw that the phone sits in, and also I can keep my cup of coffee on there, and my oat bag is clipped to the table as well, so everything is within easy reach. And then as I'm sitting on the side of the sofa, on the middle seat to my left, which would be your right if you were looking at me, is my master thread box. I also have a little cushion which the cat occasionally comes and sits on, and then also things like my magnifier and my light magnifier that was very kindly gifted to me just sit with that box there, so they're handy whenever I need them. So everything is within reach, and of course over the back, round the back of my sofa, that's where my lamp is positioned. It's on the back, so it's looking over me from behind, which gives the best sort of shedding light on the project, and it doesn't get in anybody's way, because I have a very small space to stitch in. Like I said on my introduction video, I don't have a room that I can stitch in. I'd love to have a stitchy room, but I don't have one. I'm not that lucky. I don't have an office. I use my dining room when I work, or my dining area, should I say, because I've got a dining kitchen. But I don't have a huge space, unfortunately, so I have to make the best of what I do have. So whilst it's a stitching space, it's also a space where I can do my uploading of videos, answering my emails, you know, that kind of thing on my computer. But yeah, it's I'd love a stitchy room with a soft squishy recliner in it and some Kallax storage to put all of my stitchiness in. A nice light coming through the window, all that jazz. Love it. I think it's going to be a long time though before I get it. Gail was watching Livestream 12 on catch up and says, good idea about the Facebook group. I just started a new project, Joy Sunday Kit, Tiger in Leaves. I've seen that one, Gail, and I know that you shared it in the group and it's looking superb. Stitching Betty says thank you. And then on Stitches Me that I did with Daughter of the Deep, Enid gives me a big thumbs up. Thank you, Enid. Just finish off this section because I'm about to adjust things and then we'll get back to the comments. Come on, reattach. There we go, just mark these off and then I'll move things up. Oh, I shouldn't have even put that away because I need that thread again. What a wally. Okay, so we're going up to the top of the next column now. Kelly on Daughter of the Deep says very restful colours. You get a lot done. It's a beautiful project. I'm looking forward to seeing more of it. Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing progress on Daughter of the Deep as well. You know, those greens and blues are now sort of getting a little bit wearing and I want to be into something a little bit more colourful. But it is what it is. The colours will come when they come. So Heather Marie, still on FlossTube 34, says I would love a Facebook group. It's done, Heather. Hope you've joined. Here comes her Hannah down, presumably ready to go to work. Beautiful.
I wasn't sure whether to put a cardigan, but I thought it's long sleeve this anyway, and I got up underneath.
Yeah, you should be fine.
Because otherwise when it's windy, it blows right up. So.
What's your plans today?
Wait till 3 and then I'm nipping down to C7 Leonard Stadium.
Okay.
Because I caught Sarah on Monday, she's a bit late that they had me down, so.
Okay, so you're home for tea, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Joanne Gray says on FlossTube 30, which was the big stitch one, she says, beautiful work. What part of the UK are you from? I'm in South Wales. I am in South Yorkshire. Specifically, I am in Rotherham, the town where the big stitch was held, Joanne.
I know. got 2 Welsh people.
Oh, congratulations. Joanne Phillips comments on FlashTube 34. She says, "Hi Nicola, I've just started watching your channel and I enjoy it very much. I'm a watercolour artist and like having it on whilst I'm painting. I used to stitch a lot, but never anything like what you do. I find your stitch work amazing. I'm in California and will try to remember the time difference so I can watch it all. It's like hanging out with a lovely friend. Thank you for sharing your work." Thank you, Joanne. That's a lovely comment. And feel free to join the Simply a Stitcher Facebook group and share some pictures of your art. I'd be very interested to see your painting. You know, so, you know, my group is not solely about stitching. You know, if you have, and this goes for everybody, if you have another craft that you want to show, by all means, pop a picture in. Let's have a look.
Bye, Mum. Go away. Love you.
All right. See you later, chicken. Love you. Have a good day. Kelly had a little difficulty in getting into the group, but we managed to resolve that. Because I did pop a community post out when I'd created the group so that you guys could come in and join. Okay. And she comments on my Leonid Afremov Stitch With Me that I did. It says, "Hi Nicola, now that I've watched you do this project for a while, I understand how your method for tent stitch works." I did do a separate video about it, Kelly. I don't know if you have seen that, but I did do a video. It's about 40 minutes long, I think, just sort of explaining the method. It works for me. Others might find it busy or confusing, but for me it just works. And for me it gives a lovely neatness to it. Trish, aka Mexi Maynard, again on my Afremov Stitch With Me. She says, "Hi Nicola, I'm always looking forward to watching you as you stitch. My question is, do you use the same needle for all your projects?" She's always losing hers. "Or do you use a single one or multiple ones for each project? Or, you know, how does it work essentially?" So I have different projects on different counts, and I have this needle minder with several different needles on it, and as you can see, that's the biggest, this one's the second biggest, third biggest, and then a tiny one, and this one I'm using a ball tip needle. So the way that it works is, you can see there that it's a ball tip. When I pick up a piece and start to stitch, it depends which needle I use as to what feels right. If it doesn't feel right, then I switch it either up for a bigger size or, you know, chunkier needle, or down for a slimmer or thinner needle. So there's no, I don't use a particular science for it. I don't go for you should use this size needle on this size fabric. I just select a needle that feels like it should be going through that fabric, if that makes sense. So I always have a few on hand, but I don't leave needles in my fabric at all. The only exception to that is she sleeps, but that's because I'm stitching her as much as I can anyway, almost every day. But even then, the needle is not left in the fabric, it's on a needle minder on the fabric. So yeah, I just you know, use what feels right, really. I think a lot of stitching is that we go with the flow. And if your flow tells you use a different needle, that's what I do. My favourite project is the bookshelf. Her colours make me happy. The progression is awesome, coming to life. Continue blessed stitching. From Trish Maynard, pronounced Maynard, from the state of Massachusetts in the US of A. Thank you very much, Trish. I hope that answers your question. I just go with the flow. I know that, you know, sometimes stitches will, you know, especially if they're parking, will leave a needle threaded, but I just use the one needle on my projects. If I have to get a second needle out, it means that there's something wrong, and I need to adjust to do something, but I don't want to undo the first needle. But yeah, just stitching on what feels right. Jackie says, what size needle do you use? I'm struggle threading mine, it slows my stitching. So on that stitch with me there, Jackie, I was using the ball tip needle. The ball tip needles do have a small eye. Oh, crikey. They do have a small eye in compared to standard tapestry needles. In fact, I can just show you the difference. And I was using a size 26 ball tip needle, which is the one that I have in my hand at the moment. If I can just get this stitch out, because I put it in the wrong place. Right, so this is a ball tip needle size 26, and as you can see, well, you may be able to see, you may not, it has a small eye, comparatively speaking. The eye is not much bigger than what you would find on a standard sewing needle. So if I just compare this with one of my tapestry needles, you can see the huge difference in the needle eye. The tapestry needle is more than twice the length of the one from the ball tip needle. I don't use a needle threader or anything, it's just practice. But you know, if you're stitching with one strand, a good way to do it is Karen's method, the needle bug. So hold the thread, hold the end in your fingers and hold it tight across your index finger. Put the needle eye over the thread, so the thread is literally sitting in the needle eye. And if you just rub back and forward, what will happen is a loop will form in the eye of the needle, and then you can just pick that loop through and your needle's threaded. So I'll show that again. Hold the thread tight across your finger, put the needle eye over the thread, let the thread loose, and just tiny movements back and forward until a loop forms. And then, oh, the loop's just gone back in there. And then you can pull the loop through the needle to thread it. It takes a little practice to do it, but it's very doable and a really good method of threading a single strand. It does work to a degree with 2 strands, but you would definitely need a needle with a large eye, such as this one. So you definitely need to do it with 2 strands, but you definitely need a large eye, sorry, to do it with 2 strands. But as you can see, so using Karen's method with a large eye needle, it works too. You know, and always when you're demonstrating these things, you become all fingers and thumbs. I can't do it now, but you get the idea. Failing that, a needle threader. There's lots of them out there, but I wouldn't use the wire one. I'd tend to use the metal one with the hook on it. Snowbird says on my Afromov piece, this is going to be a beautiful piece of stitching. It sure is. I was working on it this week and I was like, you don't want to put this down. And you know, that's when you know it's going to be something else, you know, when it's done. When you're stitching away on it and you just, you know, you don't want to leave it. Betsy got in on the Facebook group, which is cool. Cool. Christine, again on Night Cafe, says such a beautiful piece. Yeah. Always wanted to do a piece of Afromov's artwork in cross stitch. But everybody was doing like Farewell to Anger and stuff. And I saw Night Cafe, it just sort of sang, you know. I think that's the thing when you're choosing a pattern. You know, my biggest piece of advice for buying is put it in your basket. Go back to it. Does it still have that same effect on you? Do you still desperately want to stitch it? Do you still feel the same, you know, 2 or 3 days later, you know? If you love it that much, then yeah, buy it. But if you go back 2 or 3 days later and it's, well, I thought it was nice, but no, maybe not so much. Maybe it's a sign not to. You know, I made very considered decisions before buying any of mine. I mean, some of them were arcade to me. But even so, I mean, I still had an input on them. And just sort of looking at them and will I be able to dedicate, you know, months, stroke years of my life to stitching this piece? And if the answer is yes, I will, or the answer is no, I won't, then depends on whether or not that's the piece selected. Okay. So Laurie on live stream 34 says, nice progress, sorry I missed this, I'm away on a girls' weekend and was kayaking during the live. See you Wednesday. Well, that's one way to spend a girls' weekend, Laurie, kayaking. As long as you enjoyed it, that's all that matters. You could catch up on replay without an issue, so there it is. Okay. Back up to the top of this column, 437. So again on live stream 34. Peggy says the Daily Mail, Andy, please show us. That's fantastic. It wasn't the Daily Mail that he was in, Peggy. It was on a local paper that he was in. And then Tammy comments, I love your video. And then the lovely Lynette. Sorry I missed the stitching. It's a wee bit too early in the morning for me. Maybe when we've got daylight savings, I'll be able to join in better. Anyway, not cross stitching today. I'm doing a bit of tatting just for a change. Denise coming along slowly. Hubby's shoulder is finally out of the sling and can do more physio, which is great news. All the best for everyone. We'll be praying for those who are unwell. Way to go, Andy. Take care. Glad to hear from you, Lynette, and I hope that you are ever more on the mend and you know, getting better from your surgery. And of course, best wishes to your hubby too. And Kay says, yay, I managed to catch up on the live. Beautiful progress and lovely whips from everyone. Thank you, Kay. We are going to fill this video with comments today. 7 days ago, Flosstube 35. Sandy says, your needle must be on fire. Glad to get some model stitching in. It really was a great live on Sunday with lots of lovely chat. So good to see your progress on your amazing whips too. Thanks for sharing. Take care. Thank you very much, Sandy. And Ashley, and as we watch this, Ashley will be about to become a Mrs. So our warmest congratulations to you, Ashley. Thank you for the lovely update and thank you for the invite to the group. Of course, those of you that were on my friends list, I sent an invite to. If I could easily identify you as a Stitchy friend, and you know, bearing in mind I have well over 1,000 friends on my Facebook, sometimes Stitchy friends are hard to differentiate. So if I missed you, I do apologise. If you're a Stitchy friend and you are friends with me on my personal page, you know, by all means, ping me a message and I'll get you invited to the group. Kelly says, hi Nicola, good idea for the Facebook group. Not doing any projects that anyone else is doing, but I may post a photo to one of your stream threads sometime. And you'll be absolutely welcome there, Kelly. And it doesn't matter whether it's cross-stitching or knitting or quilting or, you know, crochet or whatever craft. If you're working on it, we'd love to see it. And Lynn says, yay Nicola, on your weight loss goal and wonderful stitching update. And yay Andy, wow, what a great thing to happen to your channel. I'm so thrilled for you both. And she has joined our lovely Facebook group. Michelle L says, I'll go and join Andy's channel because like y'all, I so wish I could live in a small village and leave the suburb and city behind. Yep. Kay says, well done. And Linda comments again on that, Flosstube 35, good progress. Yeah, I've had a couple of good progress weeks. Paula Shelgren says, I found Simply Stitch It and Friends on Facebook. Is it just questions or will there be any interaction with other stitchers? The group is definitely interactive, so we're happy to chat, share tips, share ideas, share thoughts, all of the other bits and pieces. So it definitely is an interactive group. Just one more stitch, it might just slightly go out of shot. So if interactive is your thing, that group is definitely the one for you. I love an interactive Facebook group. Okay. Going back up to the top. Okay. So I think I'm going to make this the last comment because it's quite an interesting one. It's a question and it's from Hannah Elstrom. Says, thank you for the great update. As a newbie in cross-stitching, I've really enjoyed watching your Flosstube and also joined the Facebook group. Yay! There has happened so much since I cross-stitch and stopped because I thought it was boring. There's so much to learn. The community seems so helpful. And then she asks, what is model stitching? Okay, so just to explain a little bit about model stitching. So the pieces that I stitch and that I show on my floss tube are all pieces that I have selected myself and stitched myself. But model stitching is something a little bit different. There are, as I'm sure you're aware, in the world, there are books, magazines, part works, etc., companies out there that do cross stitch, make kits, for example, that kind of thing. And to ensure that everything is correct, sometimes a test stitch is needed. It's called a model stitch. So the model stitching I'm doing is for a national or an international, I think, maybe, part work, a character one. And the lady who sends me my model stitching is the editor, or one of the editors, and her designers submit pieces to her. She sends me the material pack, so the fabric and the floss, and asks me to stitch that piece in the selected way, so whether it be 1/1, 2/1, whatever, on whatever count of fabric, and then return it to her for photography and for publication in the magazine or part work or whatever it is that she's doing it for. I'm pretty sure it's all part work, but I could be wrong. So yeah, I do the model stitches for that, and it is something that I do get an income from. I happened upon it quite by accident. There is a group, a group on Facebook dedicated to embroidery, model stitches and designers, and some of the designers there are asking for people to model stitch. They'll supply the pattern but ask you to stitch the piece and send them a high quality photograph, and you can keep the pattern, or sometimes there is a financial incentive, and I got in really from there with one company. And when I sort of ran out of stitching from her, she said, I will pass on to some of my other colleagues, and another lady has also contacted me, and I've done some for her. So it's kind of like a word of mouth thing now. I did a few years ago do some model stitching for DMC itself, and I was quite pleased actually to see some of my model stitch pieces come up in mail shots and stuff that were sent out. I did the Zing cushions, the botanical cushion. I did a London tapestry. I did some lavender fields tapestry. I did quite a few for DMC, which were very, very nice. But they were mainly tapestry rather than actual cross stitch. But I didn't mind that either way. So yeah. So for me, it's now become a part of my stitchy life that, I expect the unexpected, and a model stitch may just show up at any point. Usually I do get an email though from the editor. She's lovely. So what she does is she sends me the pack. Sometimes I might get materials that come directly from suppliers, sometimes from her. She'll send me the chart digitally. Usually it's Pattern Keeper compatible, which is yay. And then yeah, she will ask for me, she'll give me a time frame. For smaller pieces, it's usually a month. For larger ones, about 6 weeks. But I tend to get them done within a couple of weeks anyway and sent back to her. And then I give her my invoice, and 28 days later, ta-da, it lands in my bank account. So, yeah. It does form, obviously, self-employed income, so I do submit a tax return as well. So everything is above board before anybody asks. It's not a case of pocket money. It does have to be declared as income because I'm invoicing her. So the HMRC are, of course, interested. But I don't mind that because I'd sooner definitely be all above board with the taxman. Just grab a drink. So I've got about 10 minutes left. But I'm leaving comments there. So still a lovely crop for the next chatty. But yeah, as well as, you know, I'm just sort of popping this out there as well. I'm not scheduling videos at the moment for live stream. I'm not scheduling a stream because I set it up on I record on my phone, I broadcast from my phone when I do a live stream. I set it up so that it's a horizontal orientation as you're seeing it now. And I schedule it for the right time on the right day and all the rest of it. I hit the go live button and it changes it to the vertical orientation. And there's no way to change it. It's incredibly frustrating, but I can't find, there's no way I can change it. So until YouTube, you know, essentially sorts itself out, I won't be scheduling a stream because I don't have sophisticated equipment that I'm using. I just use my mobile phone. You know, my hands are kind of tied, but I will, as ever, still be going live at the right time at 7:30 p.m. UK time on a Sunday and on a Wednesday. You know, and while I'm here, I'll just go through my standards as well. Floss Tube Tuesday, Stitch With Me Thursdays and Saturdays. So, yeah, ooh, camera quake, sorry about that. So, yeah. It's a case of just, you know, watching for the notification really. And I will pop reminders in my group as well and on open a thread for you guys to share your work in progresses. I think next time I get this piece out, I might move the hoop and work in these park threads because they are really starting to annoy me now. I think it's because they're getting so close to the stitched area. I've done quite well on this, considering I had a slow start this morning. quite tired when I got up this morning. My alarm goes off at 5. No, yeah, 5, and then I have another one at 5:30. And I tend to sort of stay upstairs until about 5:45-ish. And it was like 10 past this morning when I came down, and it's not like me. And it got into my stitching at 6:30, but I know why. It's because of going into office yesterday. Very, very warm in our office, and it made me sleepy. And, you know, I just felt tired yesterday. Weigh-in day tomorrow. I'm filming this on Wednesday, so I'm on a countdown from 10. I have £10 to go to get to my weight loss goal, which seems like the blink of an eye, really, considering how far I've come. I'm hoping to get at least £1 off. And be getting there. 167. Me and Andy were talking about this yesterday. I still have a big appetite, but I'm just so much more mindful now about what I eat, which is what's really needed, I think. I still occasionally turn to food in times of stress, but I'm learning not to let that ruin things. But anyway. Lauren has settled back into school, and happily she is buckling down and getting on with some schoolwork. It's an important year for her this year, and she really does appear to be trying harder, which is good. I'm very proud of her. Kid had a lot last year. Just passing this one off. Right, so I'm going to leave this one here. So just short 349 stitches done. So now up to 437, and I've done 88 before I opened this recording. So yeah, 3 videos coming up on your screen in a moment. If you've not seen those, please do go take a few minutes to have a look. You already know my schedule, so I'm not going to go through that again. But other than that, guys, thank you all very much indeed for watching. Do take care. Happy stitching. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye for now.